Hi. This file that I've been reading from for the communication types, with the Jarban, Finrank, Humguk, Genevieve, Eleanor, Type 3, they're all Type 3 except for language. Yeah, that file. The first thing at the top of it, because I shared this around years ago when I gave a shit, um, I wrote, is it two sentences? See, I don't capitalize the first words of a sentence, so I couldn't tell if it was a period or a comma. Also, it's in a small font. The first thing up at the top, it says, "If I'm right, others will discover it. If I'm wrong, it doesn't matter that they won't." Um, One of the people that saw this document commented on that, and they're like, "Yeah, that's a cool quote, but how do I know you're not taking it out of context or something?" Those are my own words, dude. It's not a quote. It's my own words. What I'm saying with them is, and I get to tell you this because I'm the one who said them. What I'm saying with these words is, if what I am talking about here is something that is real, if it is actually true, then it doesn't matter that I'm the one saying it. Because somebody else will come stumble upon it at some point and say exactly the same thing because it's true and you can observe it and you can measure it and you can see it. And if I'm wrong, then everybody forgetting about it, nobody caring about what I have to say here, it doesn't matter. It's no loss to society. And this is actually, um, it's a deeper commentary on the culture of science because I really don't enjoy things that are named after people. I think that's ridiculous because something that is actually particularly like a species of animal or like uh, a fundamental particle or something like the Higgs boson, it shouldn't be named after people because it's so fundamentally real that their existence, the fact that that individual person was the one who teased out its existence and its nature, is completely irrelevant to anything, absolutely anything. But now, because we call it the Higgs boson, and because it's called the volt, and because it's all tied to people. We're tied to this weird, bizarre history. Why? Why? If it was real, you don't have to tie it to a person because it's real. So I don't understand. I don't understand this idea that oh, if this researcher's if he dies, then we'll lose all of this. Well, if it's not true, then that's fine because it's not real. And if it is true, it's also still fine because somebody else can figure it out. It's not actually a loss in the long term. I don't understand. I don't understand where your head is. The cult of scientism really, really confuses me. So, otherwise known as like people who like science, it really, really confuses me because the oh, the thing that is actually worshipped, like the well, no, so the thing that is taken to be the object of worship is rigor, and this is often referred to as science, but rigor is not unique to science. Rigor is applied in the evolution of a species. Rigor is applied in the orbital track of a planet. Rigor is applied all over the place accidentally just because it's going to happen over time automatically anyway. Rigor doesn't require thought. Rigor doesn't require science. Rigor doesn't require research. Rigor will pan out on its own. If that's the only thing that you can point to science and say, yeah, that's unique to science, that's why science is special, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Rigor is everywhere. It just automatically falls out of everything. That's how anything that survives, anything that continues operating, is doing so due to rigor. So, yeah, you're wrong if you're saying that. If you're saying, yeah, science is the thing that gives us everything that works. No, it doesn't. It fundamentally doesn't. It can't. And then it further that demonstrates that it's a cult, that it's a religion, because you end up with these very strange claims about the god of this religion, which is named science. And you can actually see this if you look. You like, kind of like pray to science. It's a monotheistic sort of religion too. It looks exactly like an Abrahamic religion, which makes sense because it was made up by Abrahamic Christians and Muslims and Jews. It makes absolute sense that it would follow the same model. Uh, and anything that is seen to operate in physical world, that's referred to as science. Like, go science. What? And this is then confusing because a scientist is someone who publishes. So science is actually a publication industry, right? It has some weird rules. It's a weird publication industry, right? You have to talk in a weird way that nobody can understand about things that nobody understands and nobody cares about. And this is how you make your money. And you write these things and you sell them to somebody who's not going to publish them really. They're just going to kind of hide behind a paywall that nobody is really willing to shell out for. It's a really strange publishing industry, but it's a publishing industry, and this is how fundamentally, if you're a scientist, this is kind of apart from industrial science, but if you're an academic scientist or you're a research scientist, you're in a weird position. Like, the way that you make money is very strange. And you're expected to publish like crazy. You're expected to publish a lot. And you will run into an argument that, well, but it's easy to publish, so why wouldn't you? So if you're a researcher and you have never published, you're going to get looked down on. But if that's the thing, if your goal is to just publish for the sake of publishing, you're not saying things that are worth saying. Oh my god, right? And all you're doing, what your goal fundamentally is to get your name out there, to get your name out there associated with content. It's kind of like being a YouTuber. Like if you're trying to monetize this, if you're trying to make this your job, then you want to put on a certain face and you want to maintain an image and establish, all this nonsense, right? So what I'm saying here with if I'm right, others will discover it. If I'm wrong, it doesn't matter that they won't. It's a pushback to that because I really don't think that that's a good culture. That's a sound that's a sound way to do business. I mean, if your goals are, as stated, to seek the truth, right? If you are doing if you are studying things, if you are learning things, if you are examining questions with the honest goal of learning the truth of how things work, then the way science operates is not the best we can do. It just isn't. Because the way that science operates, as I've outlined, it's about the ego. It's about the person. You want, as a scientist, one of the things that you fundamentally want, whether you will ever admit it or not, is always to have your name attached to a discovery. Your name famous. That's always your goal. It's not about truth. And I just think that that's gross. That's disgusting. That's not how a sincere pursuit of knowledge, a sincere pursuit of understanding should operate. Something that's true is true because it's true, not because of who said it. So if an aspect of the culture is to make a saint out of the person who discovered it, well, then that culture is messed up. And I'm not really into being a part of that.